Hi, welcome to Tina's Talk Time again. If you're new here, very well welcome, but if you've been here before and you subscribe, please, thank you for coming back. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the lovely comments. I mentioned on the last video that I'd probably do a Q&A this time. It had been requested by some of the viewers, so it might go into 2 videos, I don't know, we'll see how long this goes. But I've got quite a few questions here. It'll help you find out a little bit more about me, you know, so you'll have to start telling me about you. I hope you've all had a good weekend. The weather in England is absolutely appalling. It's pouring down with rain. Proper autumn day, quite wild and windy. I had a joiner here yesterday fitting some new doors, and honestly it was awful because it was so wet when he was in and out trying to plane the doors to get them to fit. I felt really sorry for him. Anyway, let's get started. I might have to put my glasses on because I'll have to read a lot of these, I'm afraid. Right, the first question I got asked was, how long have I been married? It seemed somebody's noticed that I've got wedding rings. Well, I'm actually a widow. Oh golly, I'm dropping this. I drop everything on the floor on these videos. I'm actually a widow. I got married in 1972, so next year would have been my golden wedding. But sadly, my husband died 10 years ago, just before our ruby wedding, actually, just before Christmas. It suffered with Parkinson's for about 10 years. And he's greatly missed. He was a lovely, lovely man, you know. But anyway, you've got to get on with life, haven't you? And it's 10 years down the line now, but everybody still misses him. It's such a witty sense of humour. He was a lovely man. Anyway, moving on. That's as far as we'll go. Where was I born and have I lived anywhere else? Well, I was born in West Yorkshire on the Pennines. I loved it there. It was really nice, and we lived there till I was about 11. My mum and dad, for quite a while, lived with my granddad on my dad's side. We lived in his house with him because he was on his own and not well. And it was like an end terraced house on, well, probably what you'd call a back street, really. There was a back street and a front street. You know, the front was straight onto the road. There was a little back yard as such, you know. We did have our own bathroom, which was unusual for the street. There wasn't many. A lot had outside bathrooms in those days. Bearing in mind, I'm going back like 70 odd years, you know. In fact, I can remember I had an auntie. I mean, it's terrible when you think about it. I had a great auntie, and where she lived, you went up the street to the toilet. There's quite a few houses shared the same toilet. How awful must that have been? But I suppose I never thought about it as a child, you know. Anyway, when I was 10, nearly 11, my parents decided to move to the West Lancashire coast. So I'm a Yorkshire girl living in Lancashire. So I've lived there ever since, really. So, you know, I got married and lived around here the same, you know, just moved a few miles away. And I do love the West Lancashire coast. It's beautiful, it really is. But I love Yorkshire as well. It's like going home, isn't it, where you've come from, you know. It's such a beautiful, beautiful county. And the largest in England, I have to say. I mean, it borders the Lake District, it borders Lancashire. It's amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful county. Anyway, that's that. So moving on. My profession. Well, I don't know that I had a profession as such. I was a civil servant. I started in the civil service after I left college, which would be when I was about 17, I think. It's so long ago, I can hardly remember. I went to like a commercial college, what they used to do in those days, you know. It now classes itself as a university, but it wasn't in those days. And I went into the civil service, and initially I just worked like on a distribution unit where we're dishing out, oh, do you know, my dog's barking again. I'm guessing there's somebody at the door. I can't answer it because I can't edit it, so they'll just have to go. Oh, it's probably somebody posting. I think it's a postman. That's okay. I haven't got Mabel today, by the way, because my daughter's at home today, so I've only got Betsy. So she's showing her voice today. Anyway, I first initially worked in like the station in the distribution section of the civil service, and then I got promoted and went to work at a nearby office where we supplied wheelchairs. I mean, years ago, wheelchairs used to be supplied by what was the Ministry of Health. So we arranged all the contracts for wheelchairs, and that was so interesting. And it sounds awful saying, but artificial limbs and appliances, and it doesn't sound interesting, but it was, you know, amazing people, you know, and it was at the time when all the thalidomide children were requiring appliances, and that was really rewarding, trying to sort something out for them. Then I did get promoted again, and I went back to where I'd worked before, but I went to work on what was called war pensions. I don't know if they still call war pensions, service pensions or something like that now. And that was so interesting. You know, you had to decide on pensions for disabled veterans, and I did really like that. Then I have started with my children, and in those days there was no part-time, no flexi time, no term time working, so the alternative really was to leave. So I left the civil service to bring up my children. I had 2 boys sort of very quickly together. There's only like 13 months between them. And then when they got to about 2 or 3, my auntie worked at a local hotel and had done some bar work when I was younger, you know, when I was 18. I'd just done it as a weekend job on top of being in the civil service. And she said they needed help at this hotel she worked at. So I went to work there, and it was actually, because my husband worked shifts, it worked out fine really. And I've loads and loads of friends that I met there, you know, like you sort of, I'd say to somebody, do you know anybody who wants to work, when we had a big event on, because it was a big hotel that did great big events. And I worked on the bar there. You could work day and night, and I could fit it in around my husband's shifts. So it was really good. Made lifelong friends there, and I worked there for 10 years. Meanwhile, I had my daughter. She came along, and then when she went to school, I went back in the civil service, and I went back to war pensions, and I worked on war pensions for another 20 years actually. Well, it changed whilst I was working there, and it went from the war pension of the service personnel and agency and veterans agency, and I'm not too sure if it's called that now. It was taken over by the Ministry of Defence, and then I worked on what they called operations, where you were making decisions on the cases in line with doctors. And then I moved to communications there, where you know, I was responsible for the magazine that went out and other things, you know. And that was where I spent my final years and retired at 60, which is now 12 years. I can't believe I've been retired 12 years. Anyway, I think that's enough of my boring career. Right, my favourite season. Well, my favourite season is Christmas. I love Christmas. It's slightly sadly tinged now because my husband died at Christmas, but he wouldn't want us not to remember it how we used to, you know. So I really do love Christmas. I love decorating for Christmas. I have far too many Christmas decorations, and probably a lot of them are so old-fashioned they need throwing out, but some of them have got such touching memories, you know. Like I've got a little, my daughter always wanted to put this little, it's only like a little green plastic church on the tree, and it's not really very pretty, but we bought it in Florida in Orlando in Disney, and it's such lovely memories, you know, so I couldn't bear to throw it out. So if people think my tree's tacky, I don't care, really, because I love it. Yeah, so that's my favourite season, shortly followed by autumn. To be truthful, I love all the seasons. I love it that in England we've got 4 seasons, you know. I know it's lovely to have the sun all year round, but it's nice to have changes, you know. It's nice to see all the leaves fall off the trees and turn rustic, you know. It's lovely. So Christmas is my favourite season. Right, moving on. How did I get started on YouTube? Well, that's a funny thing, really. I love YouTube. I watch it all the time, and I kept saying, you know, through lockdown, I kept saying, oh, I'd love to start a YouTube channel. You know, there's some lovely people on there, you know. A big fan of Caroline Mrs. M, she's promoted this channel for me, and that's lovely. You know, it's really nice for her to do that. Anyway, I kept saying I was going to do it. Didn't really know what to do. Not really. My laptop doesn't work anymore. I can't get into it. I've locked myself out of it, and I don't know how to get back into it. So I don't know how to edit anything. So all I've used is my iPhone and a little stand I got from the pound shop for £1. It's just a little tiny stand. So that's all I've used, and it seems to be doing all right. You know, I can manage at the moment. I'm trying to learn things, you know. I've been quite busy lately, so I haven't had as much time. But for anybody out there who it's easy to set up. It's very easy, you know. Just use your phone. That's all you need, you know. And a little stand, as I say, from the pound shop. So, right, next question. Oh, I have to keep putting the glasses on. Oh, this is an unusual one. If I could only eat one food, what would it be? Well, my favourite foods are, what do I like? I love spaghetti bolognese. I love steak pudding. I know it's a northern thing, but I do like a steak pudding. But I think if I could only eat one thing, like forever, it probably would be porridge with syrup on, because I do like that, and I think you could have it at any meal. You know, I don't think you'd fancy spag bol for breakfast or steak pudding for breakfast. So, but I think you could eat porridge anytime. So I think it would be porridge with syrup on. I do like golden syrup on it. Right, next question. What foundation do I use? Well, the day that I was asked that, I used a sample foundation that somebody had given me, and it was a Clinique foundation. It's this one. It's Clinique Beyond Perfecting, and it's a combination of foundation and concealer. I did quite like it, actually. I think it's about £29. I did look it up. Now, I'm trying to see what colour it is, because I would go for a lighter colour than this one. But this was just a free sample. And it says dry combination to combination oily mix. That's a bit bizarre, really. In other words, it can do anything. I'm not too sure what colour this is. I can't see where it says. Anyway, it was that foundation, Clinique. Now, I did always used to wear Clinique foundation. I do like Clinique foundation. But like, it is quite expensive, isn't it? And I used to buy it when I went on holiday, because it never seems like you're spending money if you're spending out of your holiday money, does it? And particularly if we went to America, because it's a little bit cheaper there. So, but now, so when I went to America, we used to go to the outlets, and I could often get it there, and I'd probably pick up a couple for me and a couple for my daughter, actually. But I've run out of it now, so I'm just using different things. But I do think I might be tempted to buy one of those. Clinique online often have offers on, so it's worth looking out. You know, they often do like 20% off or a free gift, so it's just worth checking. You know, I know when you go in the shops, if you buy so many items, you can get this box of free things, but half the time you don't want all the things that are at the samples. Whereas I think online, they often give a full-size product if you spend so much. Right, I think that's answered that one. Now, what's the next one? Oh, how do I do my hair? With great difficulty. I just usually, to be truthful, very old-fashioned, I put either I usually put Velcro rollers in because I can't blow it. I'm rubbish at blow drying it. So I usually just put Velcro rollers in and put some spray on while they're in to try and hold it. Or I do use heated rollers, but the only thing with the heated rollers, it does make it a bit too curly. I have got a curly one thing that I like as well, but I have to spend time to do that. So it's much easier just to whack a few heated rollers in and leave it and then potter around doing other things and then take them out. It's getting quite long, this video, isn't it? Right, my favourite song. Oh, do you know, this, I struggled with this one because I love ABBA and I love upbeat songs. I have to say, I am a big Cliff Richard fan, but this is nothing to do with Cliff Richard singing this song. In fact, I'm going to see him a week on Sunday at the Opera House. So I can't wait. I don't know how I'll feel in a theatre though, with lots of people. I suppose you'll have to wear a mask, you know, because it is quite a big theatre he's in. Anyway, I've waited. We should have gone to see him last September. I'm going with my sister-in-law. Should have gone last September, but of course it was cancelled because of the big C, COVID. Right, now I would say that I love summer holiday because it just puts me in a good mood. You know, we're all going on a summer holiday. We used to sing it when we were going on holiday with the kids and that. And it just makes me feel, you know, excited that I'm thinking I'm going on holiday. So I would say my favourite song is Summer Holiday. It's an old one, but it's one of the good ones. Right. What does my family think about me doing YouTube? Well, this is a funny one. My daughter's quite supportive, so, but I think the rest of the family think it's a bit of a joke. My son said, I said to my eldest son, will you subscribe to my channel? Because he said, I didn't tell him I was doing YouTube, but he said to me, oh, I see you doing YouTube. So I said, oh, I hope you subscribed. He said, well, I'll subscribe, but I'm not ringing that bell because I don't want to be notified every time you do one. So I don't think he's really watching them. My other son, I think he thinks it's a bit of a joke, but he dips in and out. My daughter, I think she watches it because she'll say things. She's very supportive. And my son-in-law, he only watches it to see if his dog's on it. So, see if Mabel's on it. I think he probably forwards winds all my bits. Anyway, she's not on it today, so he'll be disappointed. Right, next. Now this, how do I spend my days? I'm a lonely or bored. I can't say I don't mind my own company. I don't mind my own company. I like reading. I don't mind watching things on TV. I love watching YouTube. I've got really good friends, you know. I've got some really lovely friends. A lovely family, you know. I've got my 2 sons and my daughter and my sister-in-law. I've got some fabulous sister-in-laws and a lovely brother. And, you know, I think I haven't got any grandchildren. Somebody mentioned that I had got grandchildren. I haven't got any grandchildren, but I've got some lovely family. You know, and I don't feel it's a gap in myself, you know. I'm just happy how we all are, really, you know. So, right, moving on. I think this might have to be one of my last ones. The favourite place to go on holiday. Do you know, I think holiday is a state of mind. I think if you go on holiday thinking you're going to find fault in it, you will do. I've loved everywhere I've gone on holiday. I mean, when my children were little, we used to have for 2 years we'd have a real cheap holiday at Pontins, and we used to wait till the offers came out, and the accommodation wasn't good, but we had a brilliant time. The kids loved it, you know, the entertainment and what have you. And then the 3rd year we'd save up to go to Orlando, Orlando, and go to Disney. There's nowhere like it for children. Nowhere like it. You know, if you can manage to save to go. And we did. We used to, I mean, we went, the first time we went, we had a neighbour who was, he was a manager at Thomas Cook's, and he was really, really nice, John. And he got us, I don't know if anybody remembers Freddie Laker's Sky Train. Well, Freddie Laker was like the first entrepreneur to do the cheap transatlantic flights. And when we went, did we just have the boys the first time we went? Yeah, I think we just had the boys the first time we went. And we didn't pay for either of them. It was free for children. Free flights, free accommodation, and we didn't stay in great accommodation, you know. My daughter was only saying the other day, she said, oh gosh, when I look where we stayed, we used to stay at the Quality Inn on International Drive, and all squash in a room, you know, but we loved it. We had a good time, and we love Disney. It's great for children, very tiring. You feel like you need a holiday when you come back. But that was my favourite holiday probably then, but I love it wherever I go on holiday, you know. When I was a child, excuse me, because my mum was widowed very young. She was widowed when she was 32. As I said, when we came to Lancashire, it was only about 6 months after we got here that my dad died. And everybody really thought my mum would go back to Yorkshire, but she didn't. But she really, you can imagine in those days, there wasn't all the benefits there are now. And she really struggled. So we never had holidays. So I always said when I got married and I had my children, we're definitely going to have a holiday. You know, rather than spend money on the house, I would like a holiday. Because I think it creates memories, doesn't it? You know, you can do your house up and everything later on in life, you know. You know, just enjoy yourself while you can. So we always went on holiday, but often it was to Pontins or somewhere like that. My cousin, and we're very close, my cousin and I. We're like sisters really, you know. My cousin, she lives down south, not far from Brighton, and she's got 4 girls. And I live, of course, on the West Lancashire coast. So she would come up here with her children and for a holiday, and we go down there with ours and stay at one of those houses, and the kids all just used to sleep on the floor, you know. We didn't worry about whether we got beds or anything like that. We just had a good time. And we often joke because we always went out for picnics, because there was no McDonald's and that in those days, and we probably couldn't have afforded anyway for, you know, like 7 children between us, you know. So we used to always take picnics, and of course it often rained, and we used to laugh that we thought we could write a book on the car parks of England, the best car parks in England to have picnics on, because we picnicked on so many car parks. Someone else has also asked me to tell me about my childhood. Well, that would probably be a video in itself, so I think I'll leave that to another time. I hope I've answered most of your questions. I think I have. If there's anything that I haven't answered that you think I should have done, because it's difficult to remember them all, just let me know and I'll do that in another video. Anyway, I hope I haven't bored you too much. I've just got a few things to say. I'd just like to recommend 2 more YouTubers. I must write down who I've recommended, or I might keep recommending the same ones over and over again. Now, there's a young man called Luke Catleugh. I'll put the correct spelling in the description. And he's a really good YouTuber, you know. He's quite young. He lives in London, in a flat in London, and it is his main job. That's what he does all the time. You know, he's just a permanent YouTuber. And he lives with a lovely girl called Zara, and they're best friends. And they've just recently got a puppy called Maggie, same as my cousin's dog's called Maggie. So he's very interesting to watch. You know, he's a really good cook, and he does cooking videos, out and about, very fashion conscious, and he's excuse me, he's a good friend of Mr. Carrington, who I told you about in the last video, and they vlog together quite a bit, so that's really interesting. Show you nice places in London, nice things that they're doing to the flat, and him and Zara are saving up to buy a house, and he told you all about that, so that's interesting. Now the other one I'd like to recommend is a lovely woman called she's called Gemma, but her channel's called Pampered Wolf, and she is like a skincare expert, and she's really good. She does really good vlogs on skincare, and she's, I can't say the word, is it aesthetician? Oh, I can't say it, but you know those skincare people that get qualified, aesthetics or something. I can't say it, but she's one of them. But she's really good, and she also often has a mother on who's over 70. I think she's in her 60s or 70s. I'm sorry if she's not over 70, but she does her makeup, and she gives advice that she's recommended for her mother as well. So it's not just younger people's skincare, she does elderly skincare like us, you know, or like me anyway. So that's very interesting to watch. And another thing I'd like to recommend, I don't know whether you remember, but I told you about Cindy, this lady that we met when we went to Vegas on holiday, and I have to say, she's a really talented artist, and she's got a Facebook page, and she's also got a website, and it's called Cindyknightartist. Just check her out because she's so talented, and I'm sure she'll be pleased if some of you checked her out, you know, so that's useful to look at. Oh, and you know, I've just remembered I was going to tell you on my favourite holidays. I never got around to Las Vegas, did I? Because I love Las Vegas, and me and my friend have a ball there. We haven't been able to go for 2 years, and it's killing us, you know. So maybe in my next video, because this has gone on for 26 minutes now, and I think that's probably long enough for me to bore you, but I will tell you about some of our times in Vegas. I'd love Sandy, my friend, to come on here and us chat together about it, because we've had such good times, you know, there. I mean, I don't know what it's like now after COVID. I know it's probably changed, and another thing that's probably changed is they've legalised marijuana there. So I know last time we went you could smell it everywhere, and it does put you off a bit. But anyway, I think I better go now, don't you? I've been prattling on again. I'm a right prattler, aren't I? Anyway, bye for now, and if you haven't subscribed and you'd like to listen to me prattling on again, please subscribe and tick the bell button and the like button or whatever you want to do. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.